There are some lies in our science books. Taught it for 15 years. Even though I'm not teaching it anymore, I still like to study. It's so many neat things to learn. We're going to cover some of that tonight.
Perception is being managed. We are being steered and guided by a hidden hand.
The whole world has been duped by the media that is not real.
Smart thinking, possible time traveler, smart thinking.
That night, boom, contact memory.
And then, Alex, if you don't agree, you'll be sent to a re-education camp.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I've lost my touch with the ladies.
A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why?
Now, experts are suggesting that we're in a golden age of shape-shifting reptilian sightings. Now, why is that?
I was, and still am, the huge conspiracy guy. I literally ran out of new tin hat topics to research.
It was most definitely not capable of melting steel.
Then I would be a crackpot if I thought that was the case.
Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast about conspiracy theories.
That's not what you usually say.
Isn't it?
No, you don't. You've added theories in, but it's all right. You could have also said a remote podcast about conspiracy theories.
What do I normally say? Just a podcast about conspiracies?
Yep.
But it's always about theories. We don't talk about actual conspiracies.
Yeah, we do.
We've been doing it wrong this whole time.
I mean, we also talk about supernatural things as well, so really it's a free-for-all.
All right. Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast about whatever. Doesn't matter.
A remote podcast.
Yeah, we're doing this remotely. Sorry it's been a little while between lunches, folks.
Here's a new take, Cam and Salty. This is a new thought of mine. Are you ready for it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do conspiracy stuff when the entire world is full of conspiracies.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? The new thing I've just come up with.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, except we've been saying that for like a year.
Or 2 or 3 years.
That's the joke.
It's a bit. You're doing a bit.
Yeah, I was doing a bit.
I got it, Robbo.
Yep.
So we're all in social isolation.
Salty, you've just done something super dystopian.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can do. I went and bought a box of, I'm not going to say black market because I don't think they were stolen. So, like grey market.
Yeah.
I bought some grey market surgical masks.
I don't think the black market delineates it was stolen, does it? Or does it?
Yeah, isn't the black market stuff that's like illegal?
Yeah, but it's not stolen inherently. Stop tarnishing the good folks in the black market. Also being burglars.
Yeah, did you pay tax on those masks?
No, probably
not. I'm going to say that's black market.
Right.
You bought some black market masks.
Yeah. Just
from someone in your building.
From someone in my building, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like super high grade surgical masks, right?
Yeah, they're the proper shit.
It's fucking dystopian.
I almost went down there with like a baseball bat with spikes through it, just in case.
Just in case you encountered any spiky baseballs.
Yeah, no, just in case anyone fucking tried to start some post-apocalyptic shit with me.
Yeah. Have you read up about fitting them properly? That's a whole thing, right?
Yeah, there's pretty clear instructions on the box, but also I was reading a thing yesterday saying that people who don't need to wear masks shouldn't because you actually put yourself more at risk of infection by not putting them on and taking them off properly.
Yeah, right.
You're supposed to like sanitize your hands before you put them on, sanitize your hands before you take them off, and then also sanitize your hands after you've taken them off and, take them off in a certain way. But, this is a household with compromised immunity, so I figured better to have them to not have them.
Yeah, I think if the opportunity arises now to buy black market surgical masks, just do it, eh?
Yeah.
Although, is it taking them away from, I don't know, whatever.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure this person legitimately bought them because they've just come back from somewhere where they got them and they had like an armful of them. So I'm assuming they went to a stockist or a wholesaler or something like that.
There you go. What a world, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Salty, you're living with immunocompromised people. Robbo, you and me, we're guaranteed to die from this. That's just how it is.
What?
So it was a bit of a tricky one to research because Salty, you were just getting too angry.
Yeah, I still have misgivings about doing this as a topic. I guess I
sorry, we haven't actually said what the topic is.
Oh yeah,
we're doing coronavirus.
Obviously coronavirus. My thought was, it's such a serious thing that's going on at the moment that even though we're like a lighthearted conspiracy theory podcast who make fun of cooked dickheads and make fun of the cooked theories around stuff, I think at the moment there's like too much shit information out there that's potentially dangerous and potentially going to lead to people doing irresponsible things that I thought we should maybe not give oxygen to to those theories, just on the off chance that someone listens in and goes, oh, what? It's like, it's just a ploy by the government that I don't have anything to worry about. And then they go out and infect people and,
kill Robbo.
Yeah, kill one of us. So, I mean, I get the rationale behind let's do it to debunk those things, but I think the fact that there's so many people actually currently still being idiots about it, and the fact that, like I said, the immunocompromised people of the world who have to really worry about it, like, the more I looked at the cooked stuff, the more I was just getting too angry to keep reading about it. Because I started just yelling at people that I don't know.
There is an avalanche of cooked stuff about this as well, which makes it seem probably more stressful.
Yeah.
It's not like there's just one cooked theory going around at the moment. There's like, I don't know, pick a theory and someone's espousing it to an audience at the moment. Including, and I know, God damn it, we've said this so many times, but Donald Trump's fucking encouraging people to go out and buy these drugs that aren't tested.
Yeah.
And as a result, people are taking fish cleaning products which have this ingredient or a similar ingredient in it, and then taking that and dying. What?
Yeah. I saw there was an article about someone who has lupus who couldn't get their lupus drugs because, I mean, I don't know if this has been debunked or not, but it was like they went to get their lupus drugs and the chemist or whatever was like, no, we can't give it to you because we might need it if this turns out to be the one that helps people with COVID-19. And the person's like, but this is what I need because of my existing medical condition. And they were like, we currently can't give it to you.
Yeah, thank you for your sacrifice.
Thanks. Yeah, that's what it said. You obviously read it.
And Clive Palmer is pushing that same medication in paid ads.
Yeah.
Online and
in the newspaper.
What the fuck?
I know newspapers are not really in a position to say don't give us money at the moment.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, I don't understand. And none of the stories that I've read have explained or really asked why they're doing it, like why they're pushing this particular drug. And one of the theories is it's probably owned by a company they've all got shares in. Because there's no reason for Clive Palmer to do that, right?
No, not that I can think of.
No.
I mean, I remember that old drill tweet. Everyone wants to be the guy that comes up with the post that solves racism. Everyone wants to be the guy that comes up with the newspaper ad that solves corona.
Yeah.
It just seems like such a weird thing.
Yeah, he's a messy bitch who loves drama as well.
Yeah. I reckon it's a pump and dump.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Yeah.
Just for fuck's sake. All the billionaires are allegedly going to New Zealand to hide in their bunkers at the moment.
Right.
I haven't seen any evidence of billionaires hiding in bunkers, but
that was the thing a few years ago that billionaires like Peter Thiel and people were like apparently actually building bunkers in New Zealand.
Yeah,
for like a general future calamity.
I guess if you're a billionaire, it makes sense. But I mean, at this point, you can just. I wonder how private jets are going. Could they be flying their private jets to like an island and just chilling out for a bit?
Yeah, I would do that.
An island that's more tropical than New Zealand at the moment.
Yeah. It could be a bit annoying to build a secret bunker in New Zealand and then you've got to like report to the police, you know, here's where my secret bunker is. Then it's not really a secret anymore.
The other story though I was interested in, and it seems like so long ago now that was a story, but the busloads of Melbourne people allegedly going from town to town and buying up supermarket stuff.
Yeah.
Did that ever get verified at all?
No. So, and it wasn't just Melbourne, it was like all over the country. And there were a bunch of like articles that like looked into it because people started to notice, you know, there are no photos of this. And eventually someone like came up with a photo of a bus near a supermarket. But that was it. But like there were a bunch of articles where journalists would hear about a supermarket getting hit by a bus. They'd call the supermarket and they'd say, you know, did this happen? And the manager would be like, nope, didn't happen. But I heard it happened at, you know, the next town over.
Yeah.
And so they'd call the next town over. They're like, nah, it didn't happen here, but it happened, you know, next town over.
The first story in The Age that I saw, and I think was the first report of it, was reporting it as if it was 100% fact, which was, you know, there was no mention that nothing had been verified. I thought that was really bizarre from The Age.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the weird thing was it was like reporting it like it was fact, but all of the quotes and things were just people saying, I heard about this.
Yeah.
But like they're still reporting it as if it actually happened. The other weird thing about that, though, was like eventually racists started posting it.
Yeah, that was the next comment.
And it was like, it was Asians doing this.
Yeah.
And then there were like videos of like Asians going into supermarkets and, you know, because there are obviously limits on how many items you can buy now. And so there was this video that was going around of like this Asian family that would go into the supermarket, buy 2 things, walk out, put it in their big pile, and there was like 5 of them doing this. And no one's noticing, hey, is that tinsel on all the supermarket registers? And apparently it wasn't even like so people were like, oh no, actually that's you know, they're buying baby formula or whatever to ship off to China. But then it turns out apparently there was just a sale on and they had a small shop and they were, you know, buying stuff all was discounted and then they were going to sell it at a normal price, which was, you know, whatever. If you don't like capitalism, why don't you ship off to Cuba and enjoy their first-class healthcare?
Yeah. The other rumor about Asian Chinese specifically were hoarding or had warehouses full of stock that they were shipping.
Oh, that was apparently in Footscray, right?
Yeah, and like then police were like, no, we checked it out, and you know they said they weren't doing it, which is a weird like from the police. Like that's not going to calm anyone down.
Yeah,
no, you need to be a little more assertive.
Yeah, because all the comments were like, "Oh, they would say that, wouldn't they?"
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, they would if they were. That's fair enough. Like, if I believed they were doing it, then I wouldn't believe that cop's explanation.
Then I saw an article, I think this morning, that was like, some Chinese-based real estate mob had sent all of their staff out to buy a bunch of shit when it first started off in January or something. They diverted staff from their normal jobs to go and buy hand sanitizers and all that kind of stuff a few months ago to ship off to China. So I was like, well, this is apparently something that did happen. Plus there was all the like dickheads posting about the stuff that didn't happen. Like, what are you supposed to believe?
Yeah.
The lamestream media?
Wait, did you just change the word main with lame?
Yeah, I did. It's something I just come up with.
Oh, the weird thing about the buses was that, they eventually made it into a Chinese thing, and at least you could understand, like, racists lying about stuff, because racists lie about stuff all the time. But before that, it was just a thing. It was just like busloads of Australian white people are showing up and doing this. And it wasn't clear, like, what was being gained by doing it. I saw, like, one where it was like, it was like one area in New South Wales, and they hate it. In that area, apparently, they hate people from the coast, and they're like, oh, it's these fucking coasties coming here. And you're like, all right, at least you can understand that, deep ancestral hatred. But it was weird when it's like people from, I guess when it was people from Bendigo complaining about people from Melbourne, it's like a city country thing. But it sort of seemed like it was just people clout posting, posting to get fake internet points, which just seems sort of incongruous when there's a global pandemic going on. But I guess it goes back to the point Salty was making, that not everyone is taking it as seriously as they should.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point about it, whether we should do this or not, is I feel like our listeners, the Hypothepod core, the Hypothepodians, are like smart cookies. But I am worried that there's like some rando jumping on Spotify and typing in coronavirus conspiracy and coming out with this. So I'd prefer that they listen to this than like some actual cooked thing. But if you did do that, smarten up.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
If you're some rando that just come across this because you were looking for conspiracy theories to hitch your wagon to, like full on, just know that you're cooked. Don't do it.
I don't know if this is the best way to bring people around, but
telling them they're cooked.
Yeah. It's a bit of, tough medicine.
Yeah. Open your eyes a bit,
So
no, don't do that. That's what the cook people say.
Yeah.
Just close your eyes and listen to our dulcet tones debunk everything.
So there's been... Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
Oh, so there's been a bunch of conspiracy theories about COVID-19. One of the first big ones was that it was a bioweapon. Right. It was developed in Wuhan and that it escaped the lab.
It's the Lyme disease theory, similar to the Lyme disease theory, right?
Yeah, similar, although the Lyme disease theory actually sort of holds up.
Mm.
That, there was a bioweapon or, bio-testing facility right near that island.
Mm.
And then that's where the clusters first happened. That sort of makes sense.
And I guess Nazis.
Yeah, that's right. They had fucking Nazi scientists working there.
It was the Nazi scientist that was the Nazi bioweapon scientist working there.
All right. If you're one of those people that stumbled on to this podcast, maybe just stop listening, actually.
No good could come of that.
So apparently there is some sort of, there's scientists in Wuhan. That's allowed.
Mm.
But one of the this is the stupid thing about this. Where this theory sort of started was like this account from a Chinese scientist saying, we were developing this bioweapon to use on the Hong Kong protesters.
And the Uyghurs, I thought, was mentioned.
Yeah, all of these people. Which the Chinese government does do horrible shit to those people.
Yes.
But the idea was that this was like some sort of a virus that people would catch and it would make them docile and, realize, oh, actually, I, don't need to want to not be put in concentration camps, or I don't need to, go out on the streets of Hong Kong, whatever. Anyway, they developed this drug, and then apparently the story is that they realized, oh, no, actually, this isn't cool. But then the Americans were like, we want that, though, for our people. Can we buy it off you? And so there's this deal that's supposed to be going down for the CIA or whoever to buy this virus, and everything goes wrong, as deals of a black market nature, Salty, are wont to do. So just be careful.
No, mine went fine.
So it all goes wrong. There's a shootout, and in, all of the chaos, the virus gets out, and that's how we've ended up where we are. I guess two things. One, no one's catching it and it's becoming docile or whatever, so it didn't work very well. And two, the whole thing is from one of these fucking Reddit things where that people make up stories. It's from No Sleep. It's like a subreddit for spooky stories where like the conceit of the subreddit is that everyone in the comments has to be like, yep, excellent, true thing you just told us. It's like no one's allowed to mention that it's all made up. But someone's taken it from there and put it in an email, and then suddenly that makes it more believable, even though it's completely unbelievable from the get-go. But I mean, just the idea that it's a bioweapon is completely illogical, because I don't know if you would develop no one's out there developing bioweapons that are viruses.
Yeah, it seems by nature hard to control.
Yeah. And I think that might be why there are no others.
Yeah. All right. That theory. What are the other theories?
So there is a theory. Firstly, we do have this from a listener who didn't send this in saying this was true. This is from Pete. They found a post that someone had put up about the numerology of COVID-19.
Yep, good. This is very much our turf.
If you look at the Roman numerals, C in Roman numerals 100, O question mark. We'll come back to O because obviously that's not a Roman numeral.
They stumbled not quite at the first hurdle, but definitely at the second hurdle.
Oh, don't worry. We'll come back to O.
Okay.
V is 5. I is 1, obviously. And D is 500. So you have got 100 plus 5 plus 1 plus 500. So what's that? 606?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, on the keyboard, if you know how you can like do all of the alternative characters?
Yeah.
By like holding down Alt and like hitting some numbers or whatever?
Yeah.
So Alt plus 79 is the keyboard code for O. Now, why do we need an alternative keyboard code for O, which is just on the keyboard? Whatever. So if you add 100 plus 79 plus 5 plus 1 plus 500, you get some number that's actually a little bit higher. But then if you minus 19, which is what it says to do, COVID minus 19,
I was wondering where that come from.
You end up with the number 666. It's right in your face.
So by doing an incredible amount of work, stretching the bounds of logic and reason, you get 666.
Yeah.
I saw a similar thing that was for Corona, where it's like, it's 6 letters, and then if you add up the number of the alphabet that all the letters in Corona are, plus 6 is like 666.
There you go. The best thing about this thing that Pete sent through is the context it was in was like someone posting like their family group chat, and like the first text is their dad saying, "Hey, you guys all going okay?" And then the mum's like, "Yeah, we're good, thanks, Dad." And then she posts that, and then the kid is like, "Mum, just don't." So I thought we could talk a little bit about what is really setting off the QAnon types. Which is, they've really seemed to have globbed onto this theory about a guy called David E. Goldberg and something called Project Zephyr and something called Project Pogo, which is a little bit tricky. It's sort of like a QAnon adjacent thing, maybe. I don't know if all of the QAnon people are 100% on it, because some of the people that are into this think that Trump is behind it. But then I think some people think that like the deep state or the Democrats are behind it to hurt Trump. So it sort of it fits in there. But there was this guy called David E. Goldberg, apparently, who was a Jewish whistleblower. And by Jewish whistleblower, I mean he was a Jewish guy, but he was whistleblowing on the Jews. So all of these anti-Semites love him. It's entirely possible that he never existed. There's a bunch of so he apparently died in the middle of last year. But before he died, he released all of these documents. And actually, I watched a video on a super anti-Semitic website, super anti-Semitic video on the super anti-Semitic website BitChute, which described why he had to be murdered, which was because the government was doing something called white balance, which is when they release info before they do a thing. He doesn't make clear how that benefits anyone. I think it sort of falls into the same category as predictive programming, maybe. If like you're already sort of aware of the concept, like you're more accepting of it when it happens. I guess like white balance is when you're filming and you like you put up something white in front of the camera so you can get the right color balance. I think they've just tried to make predictive programming sound a little more scientific, maybe. So this guy,
while also making it sound super racist.
Exactly. So they this is what he said. He said they gave David the documents because they knew he had a YouTube channel, but then they had to kill him because he released them. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So this was like already wrapped into a conspiracy theory last year because there was stuff about like Iran in these supposed documents and that there was going to be a war in Iran, and then like things sort of heated up a little bit with Iran. There were a lot, I guess you don't have to be like super psychic to predict that there are going to be like war hawks talking about we need to go to war with Iran. So if you come up with a conspiracy theory around, they're going to go to war with Iran, eventually people in high places are going to start saying things that gel with what you've put out. But they also mentioned there was like just a very small bit in there dropped in about a flu that was going to happen at some point, which also isn't a hugely impressive prediction because
it's something that happens pretty much seasonally.
Yeah. So there are two parts to what, but the thing is that like some people have looked into this David E. Goldberg guy and they're like, there's no trace of him besides this stuff. And the people that defend it say, well, that's because the government took it all down. And they're like, this photo doesn't exist anywhere on the internet except for this thing. It's like, well, that's weird because they must have got the photo from somewhere, but whatever. The other weird thing is that there was another David Goldberg who died a couple of years ago who was like the husband of that Sheryl, the woman from Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg, I think, or something like that. The chief technology officer at Facebook. Her husband was called David Goldberg. He died not in mysterious circumstances, in like an exercise equipment mishap. I think he fell over on a treadmill. And that there are also heaps of conspiracy theories about his death. So when you look up like David Goldberg conspiracy, there's all of this stuff, people saying, I don't think someone could fall off a treadmill and hit their head and die. That seems very unlikely. And that he would do it was in like a gym at a hotel, and like, what a strange place for there to be a treadmill. So anyway, back to David E. Goldberg. So there are two parts to this, Project Pogo and Project Zephyr. Project Pogo seems like the dumbest fucking project I've ever heard of. The idea
is that
like
the project to give us all monkey butlers?
Yes. Or to have us all, jump around a little bit higher. No, actually, it's dumber than both of those things. The Project Pogo is to compromise all YouTube channels and to track anyone who watches all of the Patriot channels. And then that leads into Project Zephyr, which is a wide-ranging program involving 5G, surveillance, vaccines, and the systematic elimination of American patriots, which they do via TTID, Tag, Track, and ID, which they get from people that watched the YouTube videos. And so there are going to be underground bases which are going to be used to remove 15 million American patriots. They're not going to kill them. They're going to put you in these underground bases. And this guy said, if you don't believe there are underground bases in America, I can't help you. You're too far gone. You're so uninformed. Now, these underground bases, we're not talking about apartments or prison cells. We're talking about cages. And then he said they're going to remove your limbs one by one to acquire the adrenochrome.
Whoa.
And they have the technology to keep your body alive for 500 years, up to 1,000 years. So this is the weird thing, right? He gave the criteria for who's going to be put in these cages and have their limbs removed and be kept alive for 1,000 years while they take your adrenochrome and harvest your organs. If you know who did 9/11, they'll put you underground. And then he's like, I'm not going to say who, but you know who. It's like a little tin pot country in the Middle East. So he's talking about Israel, but like he won't say it at this point of the video. But throughout the video, he's like talked about Zionists and how Zionists are behind everything. And he's also like, his entire channel is devoted to anti-Semitism. But like when he gets to this bit about 9/11, he's like super coy, which was a little bit weird. And also you might think, oh, well, people will notice if I get put in a cage and my limbs are removed. There is an AI program that is part of Project Zephyr that calls up your family and pretends to be you. And it's like, hey, I'm fine. I've just gone on a trip. So they've got it all worked out. But apparently, sorry, go on.
I saw you posted a video about Donald Trump talking about this. Is that true?
Well, I think Donald Trump maybe at some point mentions like a timeline, because obviously all of this stuff is happening on timelines in terms of the projects, but also the actual reality operates on timelines. You know, things happen one after another.
So he talked about they wanted to open America by Easter, and he called it a beautiful timeline.
Yeah. And so they're like, a timeline? So he's got a timeline, just like Project Zephyr.
I mean, A, he should absolutely have multiple timelines for multiple things. And B, I don't actually think he does.
No.
So he was asked about why he chose Easter, and he called it a beautiful, beautiful timeline.
Yeah.
Which is a weird way to talk about things, but that's him.
Because he wanted to, I want to see the churches full of people.
Was that Donald Trump?
Yeah.
The voice? It was like he was on the call. I was like, what? Donald Trump?
I think that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cam, go ahead.
I don't know if the QAnon types are turning on Trump, because it sort of is increasingly becoming a little bit anti-Trump with some of this stuff, but I think the core QAnon people still believe in the plan. I guess as, you know, Trump's public pronouncements are becoming increasingly divergent from reality, it's hard to believe in the plan.
Yeah. I haven't looked at too much QAnon stuff, but I did find the guy that designed, I'm pretty sure he designed the QAnon chart. You know, there's this crazy QAnon chart showing how everything's connected.
Yeah.
And it's nuts to look at. He sent out some health advice about coronavirus. And it's quite funny. I think he just tacked on coronavirus to existing things. He's got like his chart that he's made, he's got stuff crossed out.
And coronavirus written over the top of it?
Almost. But he says the causes transmission. Yep. Good so far. Flu shot, chemtrails, toxin overload, 5G sickness, and biowarfare. He's got some holistic options in there. I'm not going to read them all out, but they include sound healing, lymphatic stimulation, olive leaf, not smoking, stress reduction, steam. Did I say steam? And then in the remedies, he's got in the body of the email, he suggests that you have no added sugars or white carbs and no fancy cakes.
Ooh. Right.
So
is a meringue okay?
That's pretty fancy.
Yeah, I guess. Are you going to decorate or put fruit or raspberries with your meringue?
I might put some raspberries and cream.
I mean, he did say no added sugar, and you need a lot of sugar to make a meringue.
Oh, yeah. It's like all sugar, right?
Pretty much. It's kind of an entirely sugar-based thing. So, yeah. I was thinking about getting some sort of cake from Bad Love Club delivered to me, but I don't know about it now.
What if I used, like, chickpea juice to make my meringue?
Aquafaba?
Yeah.
Which, that sounds really fancy, eh?
Oh, yeah, that is getting into a fancy cake territory.
Yeah. If you're making vegan, you have to use eggs that you've got yourself from your chickens.
Your panic bought chickens.
Yeah. Anyway, that was that guy.
Just speaking of Steam for a second,
Hmm.
did you guys read that fucking cooked idiot Richard Wilkins' thing about him being sick? He apparently was like, I heard that heat helps stop the virus, so I blasted my hairdryer down my throat.
Yeah, that's a thing that's going around.
What a fucking idiot.
Was he serious, though? Or was he doing a bit?
Look at his hair. You know,
He
he's
might
got
have been
like
serious.
at least 10 hairdryers.
There was, I think, one of those big Trump guys, I think Bill Mitchell, was saying, yeah, you just need to, like, blast your hairdryer up your nose for a bit and you'll be fine.
There's one going around Facebook where it's if you boil oranges and cayenne pepper and breathe in all the fumes, it'll kill it all off.
Right.
People are saying if you keep sipping water, keeping your insides moist, which is, I believe, what water does to your insides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to moisten your insides. Or hot lemon tea, hot lemon drinks, which
Delicious.
yeah, they're great if you're feeling poorly, if you've got a chest issue, which comes with this. They're going to make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't have a hot lemony drink.
Yeah, that's probably good for your immune system in general.
Yeah. And just your overall feelings of wellness, I think, is a big part.
Having a warm drink is good for your chi.
I had a cold before all this kicked off.
Yeah, me too. This is why we had a bit of a delay, because we were both sick, and then by the time we were better, we were self-isolated.
Yeah, and I still have like an annoying little cough from when I had that.
Same. And are you getting cough racism? The worst sort of racism because it affects us?
I'm kind of... I'm kind of, yeah. And like, I'll be sitting at night and I still get the thing where at night I feel a bit shitter because that's just what happens when you get a cold, or when I get a cold. And I'll be sitting at night and go, oh man, my throat feels real dry. Oh my God, it's the bloody Rona's got me. And then like, I just go, oh yeah, I haven't drank any water for like 3 hours.
Your insides are drying out.
So I have a drink and I'm like, oh no, I'm fine now.
I will admit to probably diagnosing myself 3 or 4 times a day.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's what everyone's doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I feel a bit sweaty. Do I have a fever? And I take my temperature and it's like super low.
Yeah.
It's like, what's 35 degrees? What?
Sitting in front of the computer all day, getting a headache. Uh-oh, is this a fever? Uh-oh. Hang on, I just haven't moved or left the house for fucking 12 hours.
Yeah. It's easy to do.
Hey, you want to hear about everyone's favourite scammer, Jacob Wall?
Yes.
So, people that don't remember him, he said he kind of shot to attention with the Robert Mueller fake sex scandal, which blew up in his face, where he did a whole press conference about he had like someone that was going to Me Too, Robert Mueller. And then just a string of very public failings like that, to the point where it's just like, I'm not, it could be a Sacha Baron Cohen-esque character.
Right.
But I think he's real. I think he's a real person. Anyway, he sent out a document saying that Joe Biden was diagnosed with COVID, which went round pretty quickly. Went round all the 4chan and everything. And that document, if you look up the sample documents of that template online, it's got the exact same barcode as the one he sent round. So yeah, he tried to fake something else. Immediately was found out publicly, which happens every time he does something.
Yeah.
Joe Biden's been an interesting one throughout this whole thing. I don't know if you guys saw the video from his living room, where he's done a couple of videos from his living room which seemed normal, and then he did a video from his living room where his living room, 99% sure, was a green screen.
What made you think it was a green screen? Because I watched it and I didn't really get it, but then I hadn't watched the other videos, so I didn't have anything.
So the other videos all look like, oh yeah, he's lit up the same as the rest of his surroundings.
Oh, right.
That video, they said, the reason he hasn't been doing public appearances or streams is because we've been setting up a studio in the basement.
Yeah, we're working out the logistics of that.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. That's, and I mean, Jacob Walls made this up, but if Joe Biden doesn't already have it, he's going to get it soon.
Yeah. So after they said, yeah, we finally got it going in the basement, the next video is a weirdly lit one where the lighting on him is completely different to the background, which is his living room. So people are like, why did you set something up in the basement and then shoot it in the living room? Why do the lights look different? Wait a minute, did you green screen
your living room?
I don't know if you did or not. I don't, as we all know, light can make you look weird if you've got a busy background. But Joe Biden did spend a lot of time hiding out, and he's clearly, and I know people, this is being speculated everywhere, but he's clearly slowing down, at least with his mental facilities. I'm not going to diagnose him with anything from a distance because that's not a good thing to do, but if you watch some videos of him, he is not doing so good.
Well, he's definitely... Sorry, go on, Salty.
I was just going to say, have you noticed how all the people that are being interviewed on TV over Skype, a lot of them have the blur the background feature turned on? And it just adds like this really rough-looking, dodgy, blurred-out background to their video. It's like, just leave it. It's fine.
I've been in some work conferences this week where they could have used that feature.
Right.
What have you seen? Give us some goss.
I've just seen it's like weird. People have got some weird rooms.
Yeah.
Like they're in this, for whatever reason, they're like in their spare room where they've just been collecting like all of their random bits and pieces have collected over the years.
Right.
And it's like, weird statues and paintings and things. It's like just sitting in your living room.
Seen any big dildos?
No, not yet.
There was a bloke on the BBC. I'll see if I can bring it up. I didn't save it. But in the background, he had two paintings, and someone's like, "What the hell is that cooked painting behind it?" And it looked like I don't know if it was like a sex thing, but it was it didn't really make it look. Someone's speculation it was a Kama Sutra thing. And then people in the comments were like, "What about that other painting? It looks like a mutilated lady." And someone standing over her with a red bloody hand. And like it's low quality, like you can't quite see it properly. But yeah, people are like, it does look really cooked.
Lots of Patrick Bateman types being exposed this week. With Biden, like, didn't he also film stuff that was like in front of a green screen? So it had like a white background, but he was wearing the exact same clothes as he was wearing in those other videos?
Yeah, something like that.
And also Biden got Me Too'd this week.
Yes, he did.
Well, he didn't get Me Too'd because the person went to Time's Up, which is like the Me Too organization, and they said, I have these, which to me read like fairly credible claims against Joe Biden. And they said, oh, well, we can't really do anything about that because, he's running for president. And they didn't mention in that rejection that like the head of Time's Up is like on Joe Biden's campaign.
Right. That's pretty awful.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders was just, getting things done in the Senate for the workers. So
yeah, but it seems like Joe Biden, besides slowing down mentally, also like now that they reckon they've beat Bernie, he doesn't really need to do anything. The idea was never that he was going to have to beat Trump.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's besides the point.
I've just put a link to that photo of the guy in front of the two paintings into the Slack chat.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get our hot take.
So the one on the right, we'll share this on our social media or something for you guys.
Is that some sort of weird Pilates move?
Well, I don't know. The dude is naked, and she is. She's not wearing bottoms, at least. But then if you scroll to the one above his other shoulder, which has got a red background, and zoom in on that baby.
Yeah.
It's, it's fetishy at least. And I don't want to kink shame anyone. But, hang on. It's someone under the collar, and is that a big spanker? Are they holding a big spanker, or have they got a bloody hand?
It looks like the whole half of their body's soaked in blood.
That's weird. And what's this weird room? This is what I'm talking about. Get out of your weird rooms. Like, is this his actual living room with this window situation?
That must be upstairs room, I think.
Yeah.
A little skylight. I could imagine looking out that onto some good countryside. And while I want my fetish paintings beside me.
Oh, it's frustrating because you can see there's there's a third painting on the right that's just out of frame. I want to know what's on that one.
Yeah, we did a full bloody view of this guy's paintings.
Yeah.
Speaking of famous people getting COVID, Boris Johnson now has COVID.
Yep.
Last night when the news was announced, Emma wasn't in the room, and I had the news on the background, so I turned it off and showed Emma the video of Boris Johnson saying how he's shaking everyone's hands with COVID virus, or like all the doctors' hands and stuff. Did you guys seen that video?
No.
He's like, I was at the hospital and nothing to be worried about, and there's patients there, and I'm shaking all of their hands. You know?
I did read a quote of him saying, I'm not going to stop shaking hands. I'll shake everyone's hand.
Yeah, so I showed Emma that, and she's like, okay, cool, he's cooked, whatever. And then I turned on the news, and the headlines I'm like, now look at this. So good gag. If you know anyone that hasn't heard it yet, I can recommend doing that.
Yep.
No conspiracy there, just bloody Bojo.
Yeah. There's these guys don't really seem to be handling it well. Like your Bojos and your Modis and your Bolsonaros and your Dutertes.
Yeah, so what's Bolsonaro up to?
So I recommend checking out the latest episode of Yerna Passaran at 3cr.org.au/Yerna Passaran.
Hey, Cam, I asked you that question not really thinking too much about it, and it turns out I was teeing you up for a bloody swing at a promo.
Yeah, you were. But me and Andy just interviewed someone in Brazil, Dr. Stephanie Rice, about what Bolsonaro was up to. But
could not have asked a better question. Sorry, carry on.
So Bolsonaro was in the States with Trump and with a whole bunch of his guys, and they've all flown back, and 22 people or something that were on that plane have all been tested positive. Now, Bolsonaro's been tested and it's come back negative, and nobody in Brazil believes it. Like, everyone is like, Bolsonaro has COVID, definitely, and I think they're probably right. But Bolsonaro is like, it's just like a little flu. It's fine. He's in a bit of a tough spot because it's all rich people coming back to Brazil that are bringing it back, which is not a great look, especially because they're going to give it. The first person who died from it was like the housekeeper for like a rich woman who came back to Brazil from America or wherever. Didn't say anything about it or, explain or, about washing your hands or whatever. Has given it to her. She's got diabetes, so she's got, she's at high risk and she's died from it. So there's a whole class thing where Bolsonaro is an elite, and so it's not a great look that the elites are like bringing this virus to the country. And once it hits the favelas, it's fucking all over because there's no social distancing in the favelas. It's just packed full of people.
And it's not very sanitary.
No. So it's going to be bad news. But he almost definitely has it, and he's like still holding rallies and shaking thousands of hands. So he's like that one woman in Korea who like kept on going to church. He's that for Brazil, and he's the fucking president.
I did see that the gangs in the favelas are enforcing lockdowns.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that? And that might be one of those things that's fake, but I think I saw some photos of it. I didn't have time to look at it properly, but I hope that's happening.
So yeah, there are lockdowns in like Rio and Sao Paulo, which are being brought about by like the governors of those areas. But he's like, it's sort of the same with Trump. He's like, no, we need to, we can't shut down the economy. We need to get things going again. It's just a little flu. And yeah, that's what Trump's doing. All of these guys are really struggling with the idea that the economy has to take like a massive hit and that maybe at the end of it, they won't get re-elected or whatever. I don't know. I feel like the economy is going to take a massive hit from millions of people dying. So
yeah, what happens is if people die, they can't spend money.
Yeah, it's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, and the other means a lot of people die.
Yeah. And for these guys, like the idea, like even though they've doubled the dole or whatever, starting from like late April, I think.
Yeah, they announced more stimulus stuff, which is starting late. Our government is really dragging its heels, and it's not good.
Well, it's so against like their whole ethos to help people.
Do anything that is useful.
Yeah. And the entire social security system here has had to like pivot from being a wholly punitive system to, oh wait, people that vote for us have been thrown into this system.
Yeah. The other thing of note that I wanted to mention was here in Melbourne, there's a map of all the suburbs that where cases have been, not I guess where they've been contracted, but where people live. Cases, people that live in those suburbs that have got coronavirus, and the wealthier suburbs are far worse hit. The east, all of the inner eastern suburbs, your Toorak, etc., have a lot of cases, whereas your places like Footscray represent are doing had only a small amount of cases.
Yeah, I saw the Maribyrnong area because we're in the Maribyrnong Council area, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's like, well, the map I saw was like 5, and I was like, sick.
It's interesting because, like, Footscray in particular is often criticised as a dirty suburb by people not from Footscray. So turns out Footscray's doing okay.
Yeah, sucked in.
Sucked in indeed.
Well, there are probably a million more conspiracies. Dr. Fauci is like the chief medical officer equivalent in the States. Who have you seen this guy at these press conferences with Trump?
I've seen footage of him doing a weird little laugh that people are like, oh, he's like, but he just looks creepy.
He did a face palm once when Trump started on some weird bit.
Yeah.
Which all of the, like, I guess whatever the equivalent of water dropped Twitter is in America, all of the, Russiagate types.
Yeah.
Which, okay, whatever. But they were like, yeah, welcome to the resistance, Dr. Fauci. But all of the QAnon types are like, this guy is this Jew who is like undermining Trump. We've got to get rid of him.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm not sure that Fauci is even a Jewish name. But they just sort of go there immediately.
Another thing I just quickly want to mention, the photos of Venice, all the water clearing up and like dolphins returning and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not
fake.
true.
Yeah.
All very fake. I think that they're actually of a place that exists. It's just not Venice.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I was suckered in when the first time I saw them because I was like, oh, wow, that is maybe feasible. And then I thought about it for 2 seconds and went, hang on. That water in Venice is gross. It's going to take more than a couple of weeks.
Yeah. The dolphins were just waiting for the boats to stop going for a day. Yeah, all that stuff about, with everyone staying in, the earth is healing, humanity is the virus. That is all just eco-fascist propaganda, basically.
Oh, I just wanted to mention just on that, if people cast their mind back to one of our first episodes, we talk about the WWF and the Prince. What's his name?
Philip?
Yeah, Prince Philip.
Who has it?
Does he?
Does he? No, Prince Charles has it.
Charles has got it.
Philip would not last a day.
No, Philip's not going to handle it.
But he was quoted in a book, and we discussed this at the time about, if he was to come back, he would come back as a virus and kill half the population. And then went on to form WWF with eugenicists. So that's doing the rounds again. So
there's been a bunch of like fake Extinction Rebellion posters going up. So originally they were a bit less subtle. So there was a bunch going up that were like, save the planet, stop immigration or whatever. I guess they've stopped doing that because all immigration has stopped. So they got their wish. But now there have been some going around that are like on this humanity is the virus thing. And there was one Twitter account that was like XR East that was like, they run it like it's a real Extinction Rebellion thing. And this is not to say that there are not a bunch of dead shits that are involved in Extinction Rebellion. There are a lot of good people as well, but it's a battle within the brand. But there is this Twitter account that is pretending to be a real Extinction Rebellion group, and it's not. And it's sort of subtle. The Twitter bio is saving the world one tweet at a time, which is one of those things that you could go either way on. But I'm 99% sure that they're fake and just trying to stir up shit for no reason or to push an agenda. So there is a reason.
Did I tell you guys about when I was in London at the Natural History Museum and Extinction Rebellion did a big protest in there?
No.
And at the time, I didn't know who Extinction Rebellion were. Like, I think it was still they were still quite new to things. Like, or I just hadn't seen the news because I was on holiday or whatever. But walking through the Natural History Museum, and you know how they had all the chicks in red, wearing all red, like standing around places?
Sure.
No, you don't?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a thing they did in England. I don't know. But they had like these just like rows of people. I assume they were all chicks dressed all in red with like their faces all hooded and stuff. It was quite creepy. They would just stand places and be creepy. So they had those in there and all these people came into the main area of the Natural History Museum and just sat down on the ground. And at the time, I didn't really realize what it was. And so I just got really annoyed that I couldn't go through to get to the other side of the museum.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck this. This is bullshit. All I want to do is go through that door into that bit, but had to walk all the way around through all the wings and fucking took ages. And then later I found out what it was and I was like, good on it. Good on you. Yeah. I wish I had known at the time. I wouldn't have been such a like angry, grumpy dickhead and probably would have just sat down on the floor as well.
And also, like, you don't know that you're seeing something kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, you're missing out by, like, being annoyed by it.
Yeah. I was like, good on you. You're standing around dressed in red. Great statement. But you're blocking my way. And then, later on I was like, it was actually like a massive thing on the news that they had shut down the Natural History Museum. And I was like, hey, okay.
Cool.
I wish I had known better.
I wish I wasn't in such a rush to get through to look at a stuffed badger.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming is at the Natural History Museum.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Anything else?
I've got one more thing.
I want to hear about it.
Which is just, I think it goes to the core of how dumb some of the shit is. There was like one video from a press conference with Trump, and as they like file off after having told a bunch of lies about how they've got it all under control, one guy like walking off grabs the mic and he sort of says to them loudly, don't eat blood, and all of these QAnon types, so I saw this in like a QAnon Facebook group, they're like, why is he telling us not to eat blood? Like what's going on with what's wrong with the blood? And it's like, hang on a second, nobody eats blood. What do you think? What do you think he's saying? And he was saying, donate blood. We need everyone to donate blood.
Right. Didn't you just buy some nice black pudding, Cam?
I did.
That's mostly blood.
That's true. It's like, they're like, what's wrong with the blood that we can't eat it? It's like, you don't eat blood.
But I mean, Salty's just demonstrated you do.
You do, yeah, clearly you do.
But mostly you don't.
I bloody love black pudding. I haven't had it ages.
How good is it?
Being somewhat vegetarian these days. Maybe I'll try get some.
Need to
Cam,
find. Sorry, go ahead.
Cam, when you get yours, can you tell me how good it is? Can you tell me about the spices?
Yeah. Well.
Thank you.
Need to find a good Melbourne sauce for some haggis too.
Yeah, I think that butcher does haggis as well. You know what?
Really?
I need a good Melbourne sauce for some fucking eggs.
Coles, mate.
Coles was ravaged. Footscray Market has an egg cellar. We went to Queen Vic Market and they had more eggs than I could bloody count.
Yeah.
The egg shop. The Eggporium. It's a pun on Emporium, replacing the M with egg, just to explain it to you.
Oh, I better not get coronavirus because I went and bought eggs.
Well, so we normally we take our own egg card and like pick our own eggs out of the communal tray. And I was just like, nah, we're not picking our own eggs. That is like, 12 touch points that I do not need in my life.
Yeah.
So when was the last time you guys went outside?
Yesterday.
I went out on the balcony yesterday. Bit of air. Outside anywhere. Well, I went... Oh, no, I'm still in the building. I guess I went to Coles a couple of days ago. I might need to go again today.
So we got up at 6 o'clock and went to the Queen Vic Market yesterday morning.
Well, that's a fair way to travel, mate.
Beat the crowds, though, and still plenty of supplies, because we were in Coles earlier in the week.
Yeah.
And, there's nothing there.
Mm.
And also we needed to get toilet paper earlier in the morning, so we did the mission. Our cheese guy that we do my cheese off, his son is normally super upbeat, one of the cheeriest guys. And we said, how are you going? And he's like, he looked super just like, this kind of sucks with his whole vibe. Pretty much what we're all thinking, personified.
Yeah.
And then he said, there's no sport on. They've cancelled sport. And then I realised that he always likes to talk to us about sport. We quite often hear soccer match reports from him, even though I don't ask for them, which is great. I love, but that's the kind of guy he is. And then I realised that he's probably more dejected, not so much about handling, potentially touching things and getting the disease, but he's bummed about sport.
Right.
That's a good barometer for, how far the apocalypse has progressed, how unhappy your cheese guy is.
Yeah. I mean, he still had somewhat of a smile on his dial.
All right, so we're not all the way there yet.
No, I'll let you know. I'll let you know next time.
Yeah, but don't go too often.
No. We also went to get some booze yesterday as well. One of our local shops is doing like a drive-through pickup. You drive into the alley and they'll meet you there and give you some beers. And they're also doing pie thief pies. They're salty.
Oh, cool.
And Cam, I guess you like a pie.
Yeah, sure.
So you can order a pie and some booze and go drive through and pick it up.
This place?
Sorry?
Where is it?
It's Mr. West.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there's all your pie and booze tips.
Yeah.
If you want,
I've got way more. Hashtag keeping local alive, crafty pint. Check the campaign out.
Yeah, if you want to eat some meat in an alley, Mr. West is the place to go.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to fight in an alley, see you after this lockdown, and we'll fight.
Yeah. Are you missing that? Having street brawls?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm having to just brawl around my house.
Yeah.
I guess you can still do like a finger click fight with people in the street. You just have to, stay 2 meters away.
Yeah.
2 meters away.
if I can't lash my hand to another person's hand and hold a knife in my other hand, there's no point fighting.
No.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all we've got. Hopefully, I don't think we're going to do a news episode because all of the news is just coronavirus.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like the real world news is conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll be back soon with some non-coronavirus. Let's, yeah. But I felt like we had to at least get it out of the way.
Yeah, and if we missed anything, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we missed like 1,000 different things.
If between now and this going up, I'm sure there's 10,000 more conspiracies from Donald Trump alone.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks to our patrons. Even though you're not getting a news this week. Thanks for everything. Thanks to Tammy, our Cooked As $33 sponsor.
I saw lots of people saying they got their stickers.
Excellent.
Which was cool. And they got them out just in time before you had to like wipe them all down.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, check out patreon.com/iPothapod. We're on Twitter, twitter.com/iPothapod. We're on Facebook. We are on Spotify. Robbo, where can they find you?
At I Love a Time. And check out on all my socials, I've been posting about Beer Together, a project I'm working on to keep sort of the beer community chatting and interested in hopefully supporting their local breweries. And also kind of distracted. We're doing some content that does not talk about the virus. So if you need a bit of a break, that one's there. And if you join us on the YouTubes, we're doing little after parties after the streaming finishes where we're all jumping into a Zoom and just kind of continuing to chat, which has been really nice. So join us for some of those if you're interested.
Cool.
We're doing a game show on Sunday night, so check that out.
Nice.
Salto?
You can get me at Saltmarsh on Instagram and Twitter, Andrew Saltmarsh Illustration on Facebook. I've put up a couple of things for keeping your mind active. I've got a really cheap colouring in book. It's like $5. And I also uploaded a free colouring page yesterday. If you want to
colour in some cooked mushies.
Yeah, keep your hands and your mind busy. Check out Toe Hider on Patreon. If you want to support
an album out,
it's out. So it's available for pre-order, but it's coming actually out in September. Yeah, and check out Toe Hider's music on Bandcamp as well, because obviously the arts and entertainment industry took a massive hit, and Mike has lost a lot of work. So yeah, buy some Toe Hider albums.
Yeah. Good advice.
You can check me out, Sexenheimer, on Twitter, and you can check out, I post links to all my radio shows there. Saturday nights, 11 till 1. We've got music, and Thursday afternoons, 4:30 to 5. Got some anti-fascism on 3CR. So yeah, lots of links and things.
Lots of good things.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
Bad time.
Yeah.
Thanks, team.
Thank
soon.
You guys.
Hey.
Yeah.
We're just finishing up at 12:34. 1, 2, 3, 4, boys. What does that mean? All right, laters.
Don't worry about a thing, except if all our world leaders are alien reptilians. I said don't worry about a thing, except maybe the fluoride in our water supply contains mind-altering drugs. Don't worry about a thing, except whether or not Port Arthur was a false flag operation in which to disarm Australia. I said don't worry about a thing. Except you can definitely hear John Lennon say I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. Ooh, don't worry about a thing. Except not only did Bush do 9/11, but he also keeps the planes out in Area 51, which, let's not forget, where all of the aliens are. Don't worry about a thing. Except Donald Trump is clearly a woman, and you're just blind if you can't see that. Why don't you